Eddystone S.640, the front panel off, and I've just been restringing the bandset tuning. This is the band spread mechanism over here, which is flywheel driven, which is nice and smooth. That's the original chords on there. But the chord I had strung the bandset with was a much thicker chord. It was this one here, and you can see how much thicker it is than the one I've just put on there. It worked, but it was binding at one end of the dial, and it was really annoying. Well, not every time, but every 2 or 3 times you turn the dial, it would bind, which was really a bit too much for me. So I knew it was binding on where it goes around the tuning shaft there. Goes around that shaft 2.5 times. Anyway, so now with the thinner chord on and the spring tension set right, the spring is just hidden behind the pulley there. So now it's working good. So that's at the lowest frequency, and then towards the highest frequency end of the band. It's not flywheel loaded, which is not good. I prefer the newer Eddystones with the flywheel tuning like this on the main tuning. It's much better. At least it's not binding now, it's nice and smooth. I've lubricated the various pivot points here on the tuning gang shaft and here on the idler pulleys. I also lubed the band change switch at the front of the shaft enters the plate there, and both of these shafts are lubricated with, these bearings are lubricated by just putting a drop of oil in that little hole. But there's a little bit of wear in the main tuning here. Not surprising. It was made in 1947, being well used. So what I do to sort of make that a little bit smoother, I put a drop of it's called Rockall Kilopoise. It's a very what's it here? It's a very viscous grease that once you put it in there, it just doesn't move. And to get it into this join here, I just spread a little bit around the shaft at the bearing end. Turn the chassis so it's facing upwards, and then gently heat the bearing with a heat gun for a minute or two, and then just gradually rotate this into there, and it just takes a little bit of that Rockall Kilopoise into the bearing and makes the action nice and smooth, like that. The Rockall Kilopoise is also good stuff for putting in tuning slugs. Just a little spot in the tuning slug and it'll move easily, but once you leave it alone, and because of the properties of the Kilopoise, it just sits there, it will not move on its own, but you can still turn the tuning slug quite nicely. So there we go, that's the first job on this 640. I've got a few other things to do on the chassis next.